Right, glutes, groin, let's get show on the road. Before we do that, we'll start with the usual 3, just to mobilise ourselves, because I'm sure after a week of intense training, you could probably do them with a full body kind of running out of words this morning. I don't really know the words. I know what I'm trying to say, I just can't find a word for it. So without further ado, first one, you know it by now, so let's get it done. Again, play around with this position. I keep repeating myself. I feel like every mobility class I say the same things, but hopefully I'm getting the point across that it's not just a case of going into a hold and holding it there. Okay, this is where you'll find that, all right, okay, today I'm feeling a wee bit tight on the ankles or a wee bit tight in the hamstrings, and that's where you adjust the stretch. Okay, alter it for whatever suits you best. And what I mean by alter, go a wee bit wider with your stance, a wee bit narrower. Add a couple of twists to the torso in, okay? And again, the purpose of this is just to try and mobilise your body. Try and just get everything moving a bit better. So it's more than just a static hold. I'm trying to just loosen off that whole posterior chain. And then I'm coming up. And again, this is going to be the first one. So if you're feeling pretty stiff, as you drop the hips, just drop the hips gradually. Okay, and if it's feeling tight, you'll probably find you're fighting it a wee bit. But again, we just want to go a wee bit at a time. And again, it's not a case of we're trying to drop the hips to the ground. I'm trying to push my hips forwards, okay? I'm not trying to, not trying to lower my hips to the ground. I'm trying to push my body through my arms. But again, first one, just take your time. Get rid of that initial stiffness. Then we're going to come back up. Good. And again, like I say, play around with the position here. But you can really go for it. If you're disciplined enough, you can really push through this one and get a decent stretch out of it, okay? And again, the purpose of this is just to get the creases ironed out. Get your body woken up a little bit. And again, I like these 3. Then back down I go. Again, if you're working at your own tempo, do so. Just don't take all day. And again, I'm pushing through. So I'm actively trying to push through, but of course you need to be sensible here. Especially if your lower back's a wee bit dodgy, be sensible. But that's down to you. Good, and then I'm coming back up for number 3. Okay, so this is the last one I'm going to do, so I'm really going for it now. Okay, I'm really trying to push through. I'm trying to take it further than I've ever been able to take it before. I'm trying to improve this one, because again, it can take a wee while to get that back nice and straight as well. Okay, you might find everything's pretty tight, but keep trying, keep pushing through it. Okay, and then I'm walking back up with the hands, slowly. Again, if you want to have a wee pause, down the bottom you can, and then we stand up tall. Good. So that's the first one, and straight away, again, hopefully you just feel like you're a wee bit, moving a wee bit better. Okay, my chat's no great today, I don't know why, for no reason. Just don't seem to be, there's no connection between mouth and brain today. Anyway, we'll get on with it. I don't need to chat, you just need to copy me. What am I doing? Great start. Feet together, knees together. Standing up tall, and all we're going to do, again, as we always do, I need to come up with names for these, is roll ourselves up, okay? So we're rolling our spine, and as a result, we're going to feel a good stretch on your lower back, glutes and hammies predominantly, okay? But the trick is, as I keep saying every time we do it, is make sure you're not bending the knees too much, but making sure I'm not trying to go down towards the ground. I'm trying to roll myself up, okay? Almost like I'm trying to be able to look back up through myself. And then if you're feeling pretty stiff, you won't be able to go too far. With your arms, it's whatever you want to do with your arms, to be honest with you. Again, I'm not a big fan of putting them down like this, because that's just going to encourage you to go down the way towards the ground. Yes, of course we are going lower to the ground, but I'm trying to roll myself up and get a good stretch. Okay, and then I'm coming back up slowly. Standing up tall, and again, when I'm coming up, I'm trying to come back up the way I went down, as in I'm trying to unroll myself rather than just stand up. That's us, good work, and then I'm going back down again, so we're going for 3 in total. So each time you go down, just try and take it a wee bit further. So again, you'll always get to that point where you feel like you're stuck. Okay, so that's me here. I feel I can't go very much further, but that's where now I just work on trying to go further, further and further, and enhance that stretch. Well, try my best Try my best to stay relaxed, and again, tuck that chin in. So where you feel this is really individual dependent, but I guarantee you're feeling it in your hammies, glutes and lower back to some degree. Maybe one of those areas more than another. Or maybe you're just feeling a nice balance between them all. Again, it just depends. It depends on what you've maybe been doing the past couple of days training wise. Good. If you've been doing running, if you've been doing a lot of lower body work, you might feel it more on the hammies. So I'm back down one more. This is the last one. So this is the one where you should be feeling you're getting the furthest. And again, I'm trying to go further and further and further and further, tucking that chin in, and then I come back up. Good. So hopefully that's loosened off your lower back, glutes and hammies a wee bit more. So again, it's taking the first stretch and then zoning in more to around the central area, your hammies, your glutes and your lower back. So hopefully it's attacked that a bit more. And that leads us on nicely to our mobility squats. I always show you these side on because I want you to look at my spine. Okay, yes, I have one, jokes aside. Okay, so all I'm doing, I'm keeping that nice neutral spine. And by neutral spine, you know, your spine is not straight, we know that. Okay, picture a skeleton. Your spine's not straight, and what I mean by neutral spine is I'm not trying to keep my spine vertical, okay? So this is vertical, I'm stood up vertical. And again, that's where bad squat mechanics come in, because people get told, you know, keep your spine neutral, and they think that is neutral, okay? Yes, it is neutral, but I'm very vertical, and as a result, I'll probably start overextending. So what you want to try and do is keep your spine neutral, but pushing your hips back, pulling the knees apart, trying your best, and probably one of the first places you'll start to lose that spine is lower back area, but you might not feel that, okay? That's quite hard to feel. That's where you have to be quite in tune. And I know right now that lower back of mine is curved, okay? I can feel it. Why? Because I can feel the tightness in my groin. Okay, so I'm pulling it apart. I feel the tightness in my groin. I'm trying to hold that neutral spine, good form. Stretch out the area that I'm feeling the tightness. Okay, and again, that's not a neutral spine. So that's what I'm trying to avoid, okay? Because then I'm just sitting. Of course, to some degree, if you're going to go down and stretching out the ankles, you're only going to have a perfectly neutral spine, so that's okay. Okay, but when I'm coming up and I'm trying to come down, I'm trying to hold that neutral spine, so I'm pushing my hips back and I'm bending my knees at the same time. That's the combination of the squat. All I'm really thinking about when I'm squatting is pulling my knees apart and pushing my hips back, okay? I'm pushing my hips back, I'm pushing my hips back, I'm pushing my hips back, I'm continuing to try and push them back, okay? And that's all I'm ever really thinking about when I squat. Knees apart, pushing my hips back, okay? You don't need to think about bending your knees, that should just happen, okay? And again, for me, pretty tight this morning, so my groin's feeling pretty tight. So if you're feeling a lot of tightness in the groin, get the elbows into the knees, okay? And this is where it's important, because yes, your groin might be tight, and you might be tempted then to go a wee bit wider, okay? Don't. Treat it with good form, the way you'd set up normally for a squat, okay? And I'm pulling the knees apart, and again, you might feel that groin kick in a lot earlier, but that's what we want. We're trying to create good squat mechanics, trying to always set up the way we would normally do, regardless of how tight we feel, and attack any tightness. So you can see I'm pulling my knees apart with my elbows and trying to push my pelvis through, and as a result, I'm really focusing on getting a good groin stretch. And once I start getting a bit of depth, then I can start shifting the weight across, foot to foot, and start mobilising the ankles a wee bit, so I can get a bit of an ankle stretch in there as well. But again, if you're feeling pretty damn tight and you're not getting down this low, you're going to struggle to do that, okay? So you'll still be up here working on your groin mobility. That'll do us, because we're going to get really stuck into the groin now. So that's the main three out the way. Now it's time for the kneeling groin stretch. So get yourself a good mat, okay? You need a good mat for this. Again, we don't want to be putting our knees on hard flooring, because that's just not good. Okay, so the kneeling groin stretch. With these ones, okay, we've done a lot of mobility classes now, but every mobility class, I always treat it like it's the first one. So I talk you through it all in depth, because there might be a key point that you might have missed that's not making the stretches good for you. However, if you're pretty happy with these, please get ahead, get stuck into it, and use the extra time of me giving the coaching for you to get more time in this stretch. So if you're happy with it, get straight into it. If you're not quite happy, then of course listen to me. So I'm down on my mat, I'm pulling my knees apart, okay? Groin area we're going for. So straight away I start to get my knees apart. Now it's important you have your feet behind your knee, as in don't have your feet, I'm gonna have to go this way. Have your feet behind your foot, foot behind the knee, okay? So like this, don't be like that, okay? Because you're gonna restrict your movement there. So again, I'll show you from the side so you can see the mechanics of the stretch. My knees are apart, and all I'm doing, the object of this is to try and push my hips back as if I was going into a squat, okay? So I'm pushing my hips back, pull the knees apart a wee bit more. As you go down, you might feel you'll be able to do that. If you can do that, okay, you're gonna get a better stretch. What you do with upper body's up to you. I like to just relax onto my elbows. I say this every time. You can have your arms out in front if you like, if that feels better for you. Again, personal preference here. I'm not stretching out my upper body, I'm focusing on that groin, so whatever allows you to stay relaxed and focus on that groin getting stretched out, that's the position I want you to go for, okay? So that's the setup. So again, for this now, I'm focusing on trying to push my hips towards my heels. So for me now at this point, this is the point I feel that I'm at my limitation, okay? I'm feeling it pretty stiff now, can't go much further, but I can. But what I'm saying is I've got to that point where it feels like, yep, right, okay, this is quite uncomfortable. So now for the next couple of minutes, because we're going to hold this one for a wee while, I want you to slowly increase that range of movement. When I say slowly, I'm talking, you know, a few millimeters. Move a few millimeters, feel the stretch in hands, try to relax, try to make sure you're not fighting the stretch. And what I mean by that is you'll probably end up, if it's really uncomfortable, as in you go too far too soon, you'll end up in a horrible position and you'll probably find that you're driving your knees into the ground instead of sinking into the ground, okay? So we want to imagine that we're completely dead weight here. It's sinking into that ground. So again, it'll probably look to you as if I'm just holding this for the sake of holding it, but I am not. I'm continually taking it further and further and further, and again, it's important you just stay relaxed, okay? Now this can get pretty uncomfortable, this one, especially if you're really going for it. But again, you shouldn't be taking it to the point in which your face is screwed up, okay, and you're shaking like... It's trying to stay relaxed, and again, try to relax into that discomfort because it can be pretty uncomfortable. You can make this one very uncomfortable, but it's trying not to think about it in that sense. Okay, so I'm continuing to go. We're going to go for another minute in this position now, okay? So really go for it, everybody. This is a good one, okay? You can get a lot from this, but again, if you're just holding it at that point where you feel it's limiting, all you're really doing is keeping on top of your current mobility, okay? We're trying to improve it, so as a result, just like fitness, you're going to have to push yourself out of your comfort zone a wee bit to force that body to adapt. And when I say a little bit, we're dealing with discomfort, we're not dealing with pain, okay? You know the difference. Discomfort's like, you know, you can just get on with discomfort. Doesn't feel too nice, but you know you're not doing damage. Pain is, you know, we shouldn't be getting shooting pains, we shouldn't be getting numbness, we shouldn't be getting tingling, we shouldn't be getting hot, cold. Okay, so at this point now, I want you to take it to the furthest point that you're going to be able to take it to today, okay? So this is you really kind of getting to that limitation completely now. You can't go any further, otherwise you feel you're going to rip your groin out. And it's hard. It's hard to keep a straight face. So when you come out of this one, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable because we've been holding it for a wee while. So I want you to slowly start easing out of it. And when I say slowly, you'll probably realise what I mean because it's not the nicest. Okay, so we need to get back out of it. And I want you to stand up. And I want you to walk around and just shake that out, okay? Shake it out. If you want to do a few squats, you can, just to feel if there's any difference. There should be. Okay, of course, if your ankles, etc. are still tight, that's not going to change that fact. But your groin, you should feel that you can pull those knees apart just a wee bit more now. Okay, you should feel you've had a good stretch deep in the groin. Okay. Now, there's multiple ways to target that area. There's multiple ways to emphasise different areas within that, and that's what we're going to do now. Oh, dusted this morning. Right, we're going to get into what I would call the warrior lunge, the groin one, okay? This is a good one. Again, we're trying to mobilise. trying to mobilise our body within the movements that we're in the habit of doing. So again, squats, this is replicating being in a squat. So all I'm doing is I'm getting a good step forward with one leg. Okay, you can see it's just maybe outside shoulder width apart. You'll adjust as you go. And all I want you to do is get one hand in line with the foot and then pin the hand on the other foot. Okay, and then from here, it's a case of just finding your setup, finding your balance, so that you should feel like your body's kind of centre of gravity is on that knee behind you. Okay, so this knee should be pretty much, you should feel that's where your balance is. Okay, so that's going to allow us to really get stuck in. Now again, with this one, we're replicating being at the bottom of a squat with this hip joint now. Okay, because if you look at that leg, you could be confused into thinking that you're in a squat. Okay, now we are in a way. So all I want you to do now is this initial area is just forcing the chest up as best you can and pushing the hips down. So where you feel this, you should definitely feel it deep in the groin. You might feel it in the hip flexor area in the back leg. You might even feel it in the groin in the back leg. It really depends on where you're tight. Now what's important here, we're trying to keep the foot flat on the floor. So just like you would do on a squat, drive the toes into the ground and you're going to feel that stability that I'm trying to teach you during a squat. Drive the toes into the ground and suddenly that foot is not going anywhere, okay? Make sure that the knee's always getting pulled apart, as in it's going that way. And continue to try and apply more and more tension on this, okay? Now, I want you to think about those hips. Now, this is where you might be up here, okay? You might be up here with an arch back, but you're feeling a damn good stretch. That's fine, okay? As long as you're stretching and you're pushing through a range of movement, your limitation, then you're going to get better, okay? Again, I've been working on this one for a wee while now, so I can get that back straight. But like I keep saying, when I first started, I was like this, oh, oh. Okay, so I know. So I'm going to start twisting away from this, okay? I'm going to go that way, but before you do, don't get too excited. I want you to focus on pushing the hips down. So push the hips down as you continue to twist away from that knee, driving the toes into the ground so that that knee doesn't start following you. This is how not to do it. See what I've done there, okay? I've basically taken the stretch with me. I've not enhanced it, and I've lifted my hips, okay? Each little bit you move off to the opposite way, you should feel a better stretch. You should feel like you're enhancing it, okay? For every little bit you move, you should be enhancing that stretch. If you lose it, make sure you're pushing the hips down. Make sure you're pulling the knee apart. Make sure you're driving those toes into the ground. And again, you can really go for this one. But there's no set way to do this, okay? So I want you to explore it. All we're trying to do is enhance the stretch so you could feel a bit maybe trying to go down lower, trying to twist away more. I want you to have the freedom. So it look maybe like I'm fidgeting, which in a way I kind of am, but all I'm doing is just trying to move through different areas within this stretch to see if there's any way that I go that really makes it feel like there's a lot of tightness, okay? And if there is, that's the area I want to attack a little bit on. Now I'm going to come back to the centre, keeping the tension on, don't ease off. I don't care if you're uncomfortable, get on with it, okay? Driving the toes into the ground. Now all I want you to do is chest towards the heel, okay? Chest towards the heel. Now if you're pretty tight, this is going to look like this. But if you're able to, drop the elbow, and it's just going to let you get lower and get you really in there. Now again, keep the foot flat in the ground. Keep that foot flat in the ground. You can pin it if you like. And again, this is where I want you to explore, okay? Change the angle in which you're trying to go down at. Again, what am I doing? I've got that core stretch on, as in that initial stretch in my groin. Now, all I'm trying to do is move within that stretch and just find any pockets of tightness that you might have. Okay, so we can really go for this one. It's a good one. And now I'm back to the center. Good. And then I'm going to slowly ease out. And again, we've been in that one a wee while, so I'm going to stand up and I'm going to shake out. Again, you don't need to copy me on that one, okay? So I'm obviously copying me to get into the stretch. Certainly for the first part of it, we're holding that static hold, just trying to iron out any tightness that we've got. But when you start moving left to right, that's where you've got the freedom. And everybody's going to be different. So I'm going to change legs. Big step forward. Make sure you've got a decent big step forward, as if you're doing a lunge, so your shin's pretty much vertical. Okay, don't go too shallow and don't go too far. Pardon me. So first part, get the hand, pin it on the foot, and then put your other hand flush, and then just adjust that knee, okay? You might have to throw that knee back a wee bit, and all I'm doing again is just putting that knee, trying to find the centre of gravity, and that's where the knee's going to be. I'm going to feel nice and balanced. What I don't want to feel like is like I'm way off balance, okay? You shouldn't feel like your pelvis is tilted. So that's where you need to adjust your knee. Now for this first part, again, I'm feeling pretty tight in the other day. So all I'm going to do is hold this initial stretch for a minute, there or thereabouts. Okay, we're not actually counting. To try and get rid of that initial stiffness, okay? There's no point if you're feeling severely stiff in this position, trying to then enhance it, because you're just going to end up like this. Okay, so you're trying to push. Forget it. Forget it. Okay, we're pushing through, pushing those hips down, trying to force the chest up as well, okay? Because we're trying, like I say, we're trying to mobilize the full body and get into a good position in this replicated squat position. So there's no point saying, oh, you know, I can get my hips really low, but your back's arched, because you wouldn't be like that in a squat, would you? So again, we're trying to maneuver through a range with good form, okay? With good form. Okay, so I've got a good stretch on here, and again, change the position of your hips. Make sure you're getting the best stretch you possibly can. Don't just hold a position and think, oh, this is all right. So if I start tilting off to that side a wee bit, I'm feeling it in the groin and the back leg, believe it or not. Right, okay, so driving the toes into the ground, pulling that knee apart, that's staying where it is. I'm going to start pushing my hips down and twisting away from the knee. And as I do so, every little bit that I move, I'm enhancing the stretch. If I'm not, I'm going to move back, find it, and then go back into it. So again, this is where from this moment on, it's down to you. Okay, so I'm just pushing my hips down, trying to twist away from it. You can try going lower. And again, like I say, imagine a massage, okay? You find a knot. What do? You get stuck into it. Same thing here, okay? You find an area of tightness, or you move a certain way and it feels real tight. Get stuck into it, hold it, push through it, try and work through it, okay? Because again, like I say, we're trying to mobilize ourselves through this stretch. So I'm getting back to the center. Don't want you easing out at all. Shouldn't feel easy now. Okay, we're back to that center. And now I'm going to start getting the chest towards the heel. Again, that's really dependent on where your mobility is at, how you do that. But dropping that elbow is going to make a huge difference. And again, do not let that foot come off the ground. Okay, keep pulling that knee apart. And again, it's your position to do what you want, explore around in it, maneuver around in it and try and find any pockets of tightness. Good, and when you're ready, that'll do. Feel free to hold that one a wee bit longer if you like. Just going to hit that record button. Actually remembered this time, that's a rare. So you might actually get the full mobility recorded, full session recorded. Right, sip of water. The sip of water time. This is where you're going to start probably breaking a sweat, everyone. As we're going into one of those horrible mobilization exercises, okay? So this is where we're going to be stretching through an exercise. Point of this is, it's probably going to be uncomfortable, but it's important that you don't lose form in an effort to make it easier, okay? I cannot emphasize this enough. You're completely wasting your time if you lose form and you don't listen to what I'm saying and you don't try and push through good quality range, good quality technique, and just lose it to make it comfortable. We're not holding each side long. It's going to be our side squats, okay? Now, if you're happy with them, get into them now, but it's important you pay attention here. So I'm going to go nice and wide. How wide you go, you won't really know until you start, okay? But it's going to be pretty wide. You're probably going to be wider than, well, I'm probably going to have to go a bit wider. You won't know until you do the first rep. Now, what's important here? Squat mechanics. We're effectively going to be doing a squat, but on one side at a time, and you're going to really stretch out any areas that are tight. I mean, you're really going to feel it. It's important that you're driving those toes into the ground, so feel that now. Feel the toes driving into the ground, drive them, yep. Because I want that foot solid. I don't want the heel coming off the ground at any point. Do not let that happen, okay? And your back, your spine stays as neutral as you possibly can. If you're tight, you're not going to get very far, okay? And that's what I mean by, I'm going to show you side on as an example. Before you rush into it, I'm going to show you what we're trying to do, and then I'll quickly show you what not to do. So I don't need to go very far before I start to feel tightness, and predominantly it's going to be in your groin, but I'm trying to keep that chest proud as if I was doing a normal squat, okay? Now, I can't go very far, okay, but I've kept both feet flush on the ground, and then I go down to the other side. But what I want you to do, and this is where you'll find if you're wide enough, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. If you start to lose form, hold it in that position, stretch it out for a 5-second pause, like really stretch it, it's uncomfortable, and then come back up, okay? You're really going to feel it predominantly in the groin here more than anything. Now, this is how not to do it, okay? So let's say I'm really stiff. Don't do this. Don't lean on the knee. Don't lean forward. Don't lose that nice neutral spine. Do not put your hands on the ground. Do not lift your heels off the ground, okay? So my point is, treat it like you would if you were doing a normal squat, okay? That might mean you only get to here and you're like, hurt! If I go any further, I'm going to start falling forward or I'm going to start losing form. That's where you hold it then, okay? And whatever muscle group it is that's responsible for you trying to lose form, that's the one you're really focusing on. Yeah, stretching it out, okay, in that 5-second pause. It's going to be uncomfortable. I want you to focus on getting down as low as you can each time for those 5-second pauses. And sure, your muscles are going to get tired, but this is the whole point. It's not just stretching, it's not just chilled. So again, you can follow along with me if you like now. Driving those toes in, I'm going down, I'm going down, I'm going down, I'm going down, I'm going down. Feeling it in the groin, predominantly here. Trying to keep both feet flat on the ground to an extent, but focusing on keeping this one the way it would be in a normal squat, and then come back up. Yep, feeling that. Side, 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 side. Again, groin, I'm feeling it. Trying not to lose that centre of gravity. And I'm coming back up, I'm already sweating. Pain, discomfort, makes you hot. Good. So again, I'm trying to sink down into a good quality squat. Now again, this requires a bit of strength in the legs as well, so like I say, you're going to be feeling it. You're going to feel yourself maybe getting tired. You're going to feel it pretty tough going. The object of this is each time you go down, you should feel you're getting down just a wee bit lower than the one you've done before. And again, we're trying to get down as far as you can. The object here is to be able to hit rock bottom on a squat, and that gives you somewhere idea of where your mobility's at, okay? So I'm trying to get down. I'm not getting down low. I've still got a lot of work to do on this one. Good. If you want to keep them going, you can. But that's another good way to mobilize, okay? Another good way to warm up as well, because you're really getting the blood into those muscles, as I'm sure you can feel now. But that's a toughie, okay? And that's a bit like, you know, when we're doing that downward dog reaching for the ankles. That's one of the ones you can do to see how you're progressing, okay? And that's kind of my challenge now, because when I'd done that a couple of weeks ago for the first time, it was hellish. It's still hellish, but I'm feeling like I'm getting just a little bit better. And when I say a little bit better, I mean a little bit better, the way your fitness should be, okay? Little bits, okay? And each week you should feel you're just getting a little bit lower, and then eventually, hopefully, you should be able to get down to the point where what we're trying to strive for on a squat is to get down as low as you're able to, okay? So I would like to be able to get down this low on one leg, but I'm a long way off of that, okay? But that's what I mean. It's not a case of, oh, it's too hard, I'll never be able to do it. Of course you can. You just need to apply yourself, okay? So you might be up here somewhere, and you can't go any further without losing form, and that's fine, okay? That's your starting point. You know, if you keep stretching out those muscles, pushing yourself through your comfort zone, next week it'll be here. The week after it might be here. Can't make any promises, you need to put in the work though. Right, okay, right, where are we at? We're gonna get ourselves into our glutes, okay? So get ourselves back onto our mats, get a wee sip of water, and we'll get stuck into the old glutes now. Right, we're starting off with your standard glute stretch, which isn't always just the glutes we feel on this one. So I'm going to go at a 45-degree angle so you can hopefully see a bit better what I'm trying to do. So I'm sat in my bum and then I just twist off to the side, okay, and I'm going for my left leg first. So it's this leg out, left leg is at 90 degrees to my body, okay, it's a right angle. You don't need to, but it helps because you're not doing anything with that hand anyway. Just grab a hold of the foot and try and pin it to the ground, especially when you start getting your weight up on it, especially when we do the more advanced glute one in a minute. The back leg, you're just throwing it back behind you. Roughly, again, 90 degrees, but the further you get that leg behind you, the sooner you're going to feel the stretch as soon as you start moving in here. So if you've got this leg out to the side and you can get all the way down here and you're like, oh, you know, I'm brilliant, chances are you're probably not got that leg thrown behind you far enough, if that makes sense, okay? So 90 degrees, I'm going to pin that ankle, and all I'm doing, keeping the butt on the floor, just slowly start coming forward towards the knee, okay? So chest towards the knee, but do not arch the back to do that, okay? Because I could just do it now, I could just go like that. Try to keep the chest up as you move down and move down and move down, which is going to help you get a better stretch on. Now the first part is just me taking my chest towards my knee. Where you feel this is dependent on where you're tight. So you might feel it on the outside of the hip. That's the glutes, that's kind of what we're trying to target. But if your groin's still feeling pretty tight, you'll feel it in there also, okay? So that's where there's no right or wrong with this one. So I'm taking it as far as I can, and all I'm doing here is just trying to relax, trying to get down into it. Now what I want you to do, once you feel you've held it for a wee bit, and you've got down and you've got that stretch on, I'm doing my left leg here, so my left foot is here. I'm pinning my left foot. Because I'm doing my left leg, I'm going to try and twist my body away to the left, okay? So if you've got your left leg out in front of you, I want you to twist to the left, within the stretch. If you're doing the right leg, I want you to twist to the right. Now when you do that, hopefully you feel the stretch a wee bit more in your glutes, okay? Now from this moment on, the stretch is yours. Stretch is yours to do what you want with it. I want you to try and work through it. I want you to try and increase the stretch, increase the stretch. So by me twisting away the opposite way, so again, I'm doing my left leg, so I'm twisting away to the left, I can enhance that stretch a wee bit more. But again, that might just be a personal thing. But when I twist off to the left, you're most definitely going to enhance the glutes, getting the stretch. But then if you like, you can try twisting off to the right and you'll see that it's probably not going to do it. Probably makes it easier, probably eases off. Or you can try and move the chest towards the calf, towards the ankle more. So please, for the next 30 seconds, the stretch is yours to go whatever way you feel you need the work. Okay, so when I twist off the opposite way, that's when I really feel that, yep, tell you what, that area needs some work because that's tight. But again, you might be okay. But you might go chest towards ankle and it's hellish. It's just dependent on what you want to get from this, okay? And that's where it's a personal preference. Or you could just do a bit of everything. Just do a bit of everything. Good, then I'm coming up and I'm going to change legs and just go for the exact same, oh, geez, feeling it today, tell you. So, I'm onto my right leg now, so if you're on your left, it's obviously the opposite. And all I'm going to do is have my right leg out in front of me, 90 degrees, pin that foot in my left hand, throw the back leg right behind me, okay? Again, 90 degree bend roughly. And all I'm doing for the first part of this is just getting chest towards my knee, okay? So I'm just slowly working down. And again, yep, you're going to have an arch in your back to some degree, but don't just go boom and arch your back to get down there because we've not lengthened out the muscle that we're trying to target here, your glutes. So again, for the first part, I'm just slowly trying to weasel my way down. Feeling pretty tight. Now it's important, again, if you are pretty tight on this one, that you stay relaxed, okay? Make sure you're not fighting it, and by fighting it, you'll find that you're pushing this knee into the ground because it's feeling uncomfortable, so you need to just make sure that you're completely relaxed. Again, we're trying to be dead weight on these exercises, okay? You're just trying to sink into whatever position we're trying to hold. Now again, for me, I can feel it straight away on this side, so I'm doing my right leg. I'm going to twist my torso off to the right as I continue to try and go down, okay? So I'm still trying to go down, but I'm going to twist off to the right, and as a result, I'm really feeling those glutes getting it now, okay? But this is where it's your stretch to do what you want. Please, I encourage you to try the twist, see what that feels, see what it feels like, how it feels for you. You can come back over, try and go towards your ankle, see what that feels. You're probably going to feel that more in your groin. So this is now your stretch to do what you want from it. And again, because I'm feeling it mostly when I twist away, I feel that that's my area that needs some work today because it's feeling pretty tight. That's the area I'm going to attack, okay? So you don't need to copy me, but if you're feeling it this way also, then get stuck into it, okay? So there's no right or wrong, as long as you're staying completely relaxed, complete dead weight, and you're finding ways to enhance that stretch while holding the main stretch. And that's all I'm after, okay? And that's where your body position is going to look different to mine, maybe. You might need to fold yourself into a weird position to get a damn good stretch. You might find that little pockets of tightness. You have to move your arm a weird way or something just to get to it. Good, and I'm going to come up slowly and out of that one. Right, okay. This one got great reviews last time. Thank you, Karen. Okay. I want you to get up against a wall, a sofa, or whatever. I'm very quickly going to show you the stretch, so please don't get stressed out. I'm going to quickly show you what we're trying to do so that you know what you need to get set up for it, okay? So I'll explain how to get into it, but it's going to look like this. Okay, but we need to be able to get close to a wall, bench or something, okay? So as you can see, my hips are off the ground. So you're probably better with up against a wall or a chair. It really doesn't matter, to be honest. You can see I've got a bench, it doesn't matter. As long as whatever you're using, when you push your body weight into it, it's not going to start sliding across the room, okay? So I'll give you a couple of seconds to sort that out. So again, all I'm doing is looking for a platform. A wall will work perfectly, okay? If you've got a wall, which most of you do, use the wall, because it's probably the best thing. It shouldn't move. You shouldn't put your foot, okay? Now, so just imagine against the wall. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go side on to my wall, bench, foot. What the hell, man? Brain fart. Brain fart. I don't even know what day of the week it is now. Hey, wall, bench, whatever, sofa, whatever you're using, I want you to get side on to it, and I want you to get nice and close to it, okay? Yep, we're that far. Now what I want you to do is slide round without trying to slide away from it. So if this was my wall, which it is, I've got one foot, I've got my left foot planted flat on it. Here we go, Leslie, with a tiny screen. Jesus wept. So I'm going to get this leg across, okay? Imagine you're sitting reading the newspaper, okay? It's the exact same position. Now obviously we don't want the ankle going into the knee, so take it just beyond the ankle. And then all I'm doing is lying flat, and I'm trying to push this knee down, trying to push it away from me. And this is where you'll realise if you're not close enough to the wall, because if your butt, your tailbone is sitting on the ground right now, yep, you're too far away. You're not going to get a good stretch on this. That's why we're using the wall. Okay, we're going to get real close to it. Okay, I'm going to slide round, and then I'm getting a good stretch. Yep, there we go. So I'm getting a good stretch. Okay, and my pelvis, my hips are off the ground, okay? But what I want you to try and achieve here is to get those hips pushed down towards the ground. And if you've got yourself set up right, you never will. Okay, you'll never get that tailbone on the ground, but I want you to imagine that's what you're trying to do. Okay, so that's me set up. And this is where, you know, you're most definitely going to feel it. So if you're not feeling it, make sure you're actually set up properly. This is where now, just holding this position the way I am now, that feels like a damn good stretch. Okay, but that's not good enough for us. So what I want you to focus on is pushing the hips down towards the ground. Hit. Push this knee away from you for the first part, and just try to relax into a good glute stretch. But you'll probably feel it in the lower back a lot in this one as well, which is what I mean by it all being tied in. Okay, so it's not always your lower back that's tight. It could be the muscles surrounding it. Now what I want you to do, because I've been pushing this knee that way, yep, I've been pushing that knee away. Now I want you to continue focusing on pushing the hips down. That's the important part. If you don't push the hips down, you ain't going to feel this next part. So I'm pushing the hips down towards the ground. I want you to, instead of pushing the knee, I want you to pull the knee. Pull the knee across to the opposite shoulder, and when you do that, you're going to feel it, okay? You are definitely going to feel it. Hips down, pull that knee across. It's not going to move far, but you're going to feel it sweep across the glutes as you do so, okay? But like I say to you, you need to be relaxed, okay? You need to be relaxed here, everyone. It does not work if you're all tense and fighting it. Yep, give us a thumbs up if you're feeling that on live, okay? When you're pulling that knee across, yep, we're feeling that sweep across. Again, I forgot the name of the muscle group. Good. Okay, we're going to relax out of that one. Okay, I want you to just, okay, that puts a lot of pressure on the lower back. So if you're feeling pretty tight, it's probably a good idea to get up, walk around, get a sip of water before we change legs, okay? So get up, I don't care if you're lazy. Leslie, get up on your feet. What are you doing there? Holding the wall up or something? Right, so we're swapping sides. So hopefully you feel that. We can target two different muscle groups here. Well, first part, we're trying to push the knee away, and then the second part, we're trying to pull the knee towards the opposite shoulder. So get yourself set up for the next side. And again, the key point here is making sure you're as close to the wall as you can, because you want to have plenty of range of movement, okay? You should feel that your hips are off the ground. You're trying to push them towards the ground, but you should also not be able to do that, okay? You don't want to be able to touch the ground, because then you've hit the limit. So again, I'm going for the other side. So I'm nice and close to that wall, and then all I'm going to do is slide around, okay? Slide around, nice and close, get that leg up, boom, straight away. Straight away when you get in this position, you're going to feel it in the glutes. I guarantee you that. And if you're not, it's probably because you're far too far away from the wall. So again, if you look at the hips, tailbone, I'm trying to push it towards the ground while pushing that knee away. Your tailbone should not touch the ground, because if it does, you're not going to be able to take it any further. So if it does touch the ground, you need to get closer to the wall, okay? You need to get closer to that wall, bench, sofa, whatever it is you're using. And the beauty of it is, with this stretch that we're doing now, see if you try to imagine you're sat in a chair. Shut your eyes and imagine you're sat in a chair. You can achieve the exact same position. So if you're sat on a chair, if you're sat watching the TV and your glutes are feeling pretty tight, look at this, okay? That's all you need to do. You don't even need to do the lying down part that we're doing. The reason we're lying down is we can get gravity, okay? Gravity is going to start helping us enhance the stretch. It's trying to pull us down so we can work with gravity. But if you want to, sit and watch TV and stretch out your glutes, yeah, you can even lie down like this if you like, but you can do it sat in a chair. All you need to do is cross that leg across. So I'm pushing it across for now. I've not started the pull. So again, I'm pushing my hips down and I'm pushing that knee away and I'm trying my best to relax, even though there's probably a good bit of discomfort for a lot of you right now. Okay, and now I'm going to take my knee and instead of push it, I'm going to pull it. But when I pull it, remember, it's only going to work if you push the hips down as you do so. So I'm pushing the hips down, I'm still trying to stay relaxed, but now I'm applying a bit of pressure. You don't even need much. Okay, I'm starting to push. Well, I'm pulling that knee towards my opposite elbow. And as soon as I do that, you'll feel it target that muscle that sweeps across your butt, and I cannot remember the name of it. I think I can, but again, I'm not going to say it. And then it's not even there. Turns out it's in your shoulder. Yep, so I'm feeling it, I'm enhancing it, I'm taking it as far as I can. Good. Now I want you to slowly ease out of it, okay? And again, slowly, putting a lot of pressure on that lower back if it's pretty tight, so I just want you to be careful. Be careful getting in and out of it. Okay, so walk around. Right, now we're going to go for our enhanced glute stretch, okay? The one that I really don't like, but when I say I don't like it, it's because it's really uncomfortable for me. You might find it okay, but it's one that I always feel it's pretty horrible. But it's also one that if I don't do for a while, it feels a hell of a lot more horrible. I find if I keep on top of it, it's horrible. But if I don't keep on top of it, it's really horrible. Okay, so it's basically a combination of the two stretches we've just done. It's like a combination of them. So the first setup is what we've done for the first one. Getting that leg out at 90 degrees, throw that other one behind you. Pardon me, and this is where it's really important that you do pin the hand onto the foot. Pin the foot with the hand. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, it's important on this one because you're going to be putting your body weight up on top of it and pushing down on it, and if your glutes are pretty tight or the hips pretty tight, you'll find that all that foot wants to do is just slide its way in like that, okay? And then you're thinking, God, I'm in a great position here and it's not even feeling that bad. And that's why, okay? That's why. So get that leg out 90 degrees, pin that foot with a hand, and then I'm getting up on top of it now, okay? And from here, I'm going to go side on so you can see exactly what I'm trying to do, okay? So legs at 90 degrees, pinned it, throw that leg behind, and then I'm going to get this leg up on top, okay? So before, this knee's probably going to be sky high now if you're as tight as I am. This knee here, trying to get that center of gravity, okay, with that knee. And then now, get the knee back down and try your best to just get on top of this one, okay? And this is where you're going to find a lot of discomfort potentially, okay? And this is probably the one where you know how I'm always telling you, don't fight the stretch? This is one you'll probably most definitely be fighting because it can be so uncomfortable that you just don't want to put all your weight down on it. Your brain doesn't want you doing that. So you'll find that you're probably pushing that foot, pushing that knee into the ground. Okay, so for the first part, my way up here, it's feeling pretty uncomfortable. Don't be fooled by my nice smooth voice. This is hellish, okay? I hate this one, but it's a good one. That's why I hate it. That's why we're doing it. So I'm on top of it. Again, where are you feeling it? You should be feeling it. Think about the hip. You should be feeling it in the hip of the leg that's bent most definitely. Yep, your glutes, the hip capsule, everything. And now what I can do now, once I start to feel I can get up on top of it now and now really start getting down. Now, like I say to you, everybody, this is where you need to be thinking about yourself here. You're trying to relax into this one and be completely dead weight on that leg, okay? But if it's really uncomfortable, you'll find that the leg that you're stretching out is probably trying to drive into the ground to stop you putting so much pressure on it because it's uncomfortable, okay? So that's where you need to really think. Leslie's face is about to pop. Geez, oh, what's wrong with you? So yep, it's uncomfortable. Trying to relax, we shouldn't be getting pain, so that's where you need to be sensible with this one. We should not be getting pain on this. Yep, probably not far off crossing that threshold between discomfort and pain, I know that. But again, some people might find this one fine. Again, if you do this a lot, or, you know, you're pretty flexible. But I think for me especially, well not me especially, for people especially who do a lot of exercise, do a lot of lower body exercise, your glutes are always getting hammered, okay? So you're always fighting tightness. Okay, you do all the mobility work, you get nice and supple, then you go and do exercise and those muscles get damaged, they seize up, they get sore and stiff. So it's a constant fight. Okay, now we're going to change legs. And I know that my left leg is the okay side. So this side, you're going to see it, it's going to be hellish.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, good God, of course.
See if I have loads of weight on my left hand when I do that with my left leg. Should there be any weight on your left hand?
Yeah, well, I definitely should have, you know, you're supporting yourself, but you're only supporting yourself. You shouldn't feel that you're, you know, almost doing like a one-handed press up, if that makes sense. You shouldn't feel like that arm has got a lot of weight in it. It should just feel like it's stabilizing you a wee bit. So that's where you're really trying for it to be, but that's what I mean by it's going to be really uncomfortable if you're severely stiff, like I'm about to show you here. So it's going to be hard for you to push all your weight down onto it. But if you're holding a lot of weight on your arms, just slowly try and ease it out, ease it out, ease it out. But again, if you're really stiff, you're not going to achieve that straight away. It's going to take a wee while, if that makes sense. Okay. That makes sense? God's sake, I'm going to have to edit that out now. I'm only kidding. I'm only joking. No, questions are good because, again, for the most part doing these, I'm just looking at people on mute, laughing at me when I get tongue twisted. Okay, so if there ever is any questions, please, you know, let them be known. It's only going to help probably someone else who's only thinking of the same thing, or may not even have been thinking of that thing, but had been doing it the whole time, right? So you've just highlighted a possible error that people didn't even know they were doing. Right, so I've changed legs, pinning that foot, and again, now you're going to see what it looks like when it's really stiff. So I'm up on top, okay, so straight away, see just this position, it's hellish. Now, my right arm here, it's got a lot of weight going on it, okay, to go on to that question that was asked. Yep, I've got a lot of weight on it. For this initial part, okay, for the first maybe 30 seconds here, I'm just trying to get rid of that initial stiffness that's going to allow me to maybe get onto my elbows. But you have to kind of get yourself set up in a good position. Now, right now, I can tell you I am not completely dead weight. This is severely uncomfortable, and this is why we work towards these things. So this leg, I've not got all my body weight going into it, okay? I'm not sitting that hip down properly because it's really, you know, this is enough. So now I'm starting to feel I'm getting into a better position. So I'm down onto the elbows, which is going to allow me to get more weight onto the hips, okay? Now that we're getting into it and we're dissecting it a wee bit more, okay? By getting onto the elbows, you'll find that you're able to get more weight down through that leg, okay? But again, that might be too much for you. I mean, that might be too much. If you're a complete beginner, please take your time. But I'm down onto the elbows. And again, just make sure that that foot doesn't start sliding back because that will make you feel like you're getting better, like you're getting down lower, when in actual fact you're just shortening out the muscles that you're trying to stretch. So again now, this is really still uncomfortable, but I'm getting in a better position. So now I've got more weight going onto that leg, okay? Now I've got more weight on that leg. My arms are just doing the job of supporting me, okay? I'm not putting a great amount of weight on my arms, just enough to support me. And then all I'm trying to do now is, again, move around within it. Try to find positions that maybe make it feel like you're getting a better stretch. But it's a horrible one. But I assure you, if you stay on top of it more, you'll get better at it. Good, and we're going to slowly ease out of that. When you're ready. Right, how's everybody feeling after that? So that was glutes and groin, hopefully. Again, those two areas kind of go hand in hand, and I think out of all the mobility classes, that's probably the one in which you're probably going to break a sweat on. You know, there's a reason for that being that these are big, powerful muscle groups. They do a lot of work. You know, they get real tired, they get abused and used. So we need to keep on top of them. And again, the glutes especially, that hip joint, it just seizes up, and we don't often do a lot of this range of movement, okay? So we get pretty damn tight. So that's why it's important we keep on top of it. And I think out of the glutes and groin one, it's the one where you're probably going to find a lot of the exercises you do have a lot of room for improvement on. But again, just like anything, don't compare yourself to anyone other than yourself, because it's you're trying to make progress with yourself. There's no point looking at someone who's been doing it a lot longer than you, who's getting down a lot lower, or who's just naturally a bit more flexible than you, and getting annoyed about yourself or feeling less of yourself. Just keep putting in time with it. You're going to get better. You will get better. If you put in the time, you put in the effort, you're going to get better. If time's passed and you've not felt any improvement, 100% it's your own fault, okay? We're not buttering up, it's your own fault. You're not pushing it hard enough, okay? It's very easy it's like anything. Some people are able to push themselves a wee bit harder and therefore able to get a wee bit better. Some people can't. But it's classic example is this kind of one. It's really uncomfortable. It's horrible. But as long as you're pushing through it, trying to take it further and really focusing on doing it properly, each week you're going to get better, okay? Now, like I say, when you throw in things like exercise, some weeks you might feel like you've gone the other way. And it's important you know that, okay? So I know that if, say, yesterday I'd done a lot of heavy squats and I'm walking around like this, you know, I'm real sore, real stiff. I know that the likes of these glute stretches are going to be hellish, and I'm probably not going to get as far as I normally would get had I been not as sore and stiff from my training. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you as well, but I think that's maybe almost a bit of common sense. You know, if you're walking around going, that was a hellish session yesterday, or maybe, I don't know, you've done something you're not in the habit of doing. Okay, I went a run yesterday again, 2 runs in 1 week. It's crazy, it's crazy. I'm just bored. I found something I'm not good at and I quite like it because it's beating me up. So as a result today, you know, I'm really feeling my glutes and hammies, really feeling them. And that's why I think with that enhanced glute stretch, that's probably the hardest I've ever felt it. Always feel it tough. But again, all I'm getting at here is yes, you should be making progress, but also there's some days that you're more mobile and supple than others. Okay, and today being one of the days that I'm really kind of sore and achy. Okay, and again, I'm not saying that because I want sympathy, I'm just using myself as an example. So it's a constant battle, mobility, especially if you're exercising, it's a constant battle. But as a whole, you should get better, okay? And just like, you know, your training sessions, there's some days where you might not train as optimal as you might like to, just like this. I'm just talking, but hopefully I'm getting the point across. Thank you very much for coming. I hope your glutes and groin are feeling a little bit more mobile. And I think we're pretty much nailing these mobility sessions. Again, I'm not going to keep the spice of life in these because I think we've found the best variations that we can do for just body weight stuff. So therefore, we're getting through it. I think it's 3 sessions we're getting done in a rotation now to get the full body in, which is good because it means we're getting more frequency in. So that means we're getting more often. We're going to be doing the ones we're crap at. Okay, so again, treat it like anything. Treat it as a challenge. If you're not good at it, don't get annoyed. Don't think of yourself as being garbage. You might be, but you can get better, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get at, okay? My new mobility challenges are that downward dog heel reach. I'm determined to be able to grab that heel. I can't even touch it with my fingertips. And to be able to get down into a good deep squat on that groin. Because again, some of these are good indicators of how you're progressing. And again, you should hopefully feel like these tough mobility movements that we do, you should find that you're getting a wee bit better at them. So anyway, I'm just going to keep talking for the next half an hour unless I say that's enough. So that is enough. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.